my garden friends. Thank you for joining me today. We are going to go over my top 5 vegetables that you have to grow in the garden, as well as go over a few things that we'll be trying new for our 2025 garden, talk about what worked well and what didn't, and just a short overview as you guys start your seed shopping and really get to planning for your 2025 garden. I like to keep my garden together by having an Excel worksheet where I go over everything that I plan to grow, as well as the dates that I'm going to grow it out. I do keep my spreadsheet updated through the year, just kind of to remind me of what I grew. That way, you know, what worked well, what didn't work well, what things that I'm going to keep, what things are going in my forever garden. If you don't have a garden journal or some way to track what you're growing and how it's growing, that is one of the main things that I think that you should do in order to really take that next step to having a successful garden. One thing for sure about gardening is you're going to have things that do well and things that don't. You're going to have some things that might start to sprout and then they never show up through the year. And so it's very important to kind of track, because as the years go on, you kind of things jumble along in the head. It's the same way as how you have to label your plants, because you'll never remember what that plant was if you don't label it. That's what this is for. So if you don't have some way to track what seeds you're planting and a way to track how your garden did, jot down your thoughts or keep little notes or excerpts or whatever pops in your head, you need to make sure that you put that on your to-do list as the number one thing. I don't care how big or small your garden is. You have to keep a journal. It will help you so much down the road, because every year as you find what does good and what doesn't do good, you can make adjustments. And that's what's key, making adjustments to keep your garden growing. Dragon lingerie bean. I love a good dragon lingerie, as well as a dragon tongue bush bean. They just seem to be very abundant. They grow very easily. They were one of my favorite beans, and they're always going to be a staple in my garden going forward. So if you haven't had your chance to grow dragon tongue bush bean or dragon lingerie bean, please make sure that you take your time out to go ahead and grow those. I mean, I just can't say enough about them. Like I said, they taste good. They do turn green after you cook them, so it's just super fun. You know, they're different, they're pretty, one of those things. I wanted to give a shout out to our Megaton cabbage. Megaton cabbage did excellent last year. It was actually my first year after all this time really growing a cabbage that worked. Now, what I will say is I have finally come to the conclusion that I have to cover my cabbage. There is no getting around not covering it. The cabbage moths come through and they devour everything in sight. But once I found out that, you know what, I can get away with the way it looks, because I swear sometimes covering things and, you know, the aesthetics, I'm like, ugh. But then once you get to really gardening and growing your food, you're like, I could care less about the aesthetics. I will tarp everything. But that's neither here nor there. I will say, though, that Megaton cabbage showed up and showed out. In fact, I still have 2 cabbages out there that I'm going to go and see after the snow if they're able to still be picked. But something inside of me tells me they will be. And that's how good Megaton cabbage is. I had an excellent time growing this, and it will, going forward, it will be going for a staple in my garden. So if you don't have Megaton cabbage or you're not having a lot of success with cabbage, try that Megaton. Chinese pink celery. This is a new celery that we're going to be trying as part of our Pretty in Pink Garden series that we'll have for 2025. Very excited about trying this. One of the other creators that I followed has grown this for at least 3 or 4 years. Shout out to her. And she says that it's excellent, and she's going back to growing it again. So we're going to try that for this year in our garden, and I am very excited, and we'll keep you posted on that for sure. So this year we're going to try the white wonder cucumber and white angel cucumber. So I'm very excited to see how those grow and see what's going on with them. See what they do in the garden, right? We're also going to try Indian snake cucumber. This will be our first year trying that, so I will keep you posted. For eggplants, we did a Black Beauty eggplant last year. We also, I think we had 6 or 7 different varieties of eggplant. I found that, I'm sticking with Black Beauty eggplants. Those are going to be my go-to. They grow very well in my area. They grow great in our garden. But this year, I'm also going to try a Thanos eggplant, as well as a Black Stallion eggplant. So we'll see. But Black Beauty, that's my go-to. That's going to be our garden staple. We've had success with loofah 1 year, and it only grew 1 loofah, so I wouldn't really call it a success. But this year we're going to try 2 different types of loofah to kind of see if we can get loofah going. So stay tuned for loofah, because that's going to be really exciting. I am determined to give up Christmas gifts of fresh loofah to all my friends and family. So pray for us for our loofah, and I will keep you posted. Jelly Melon Kawano. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It is a South African melon. Looks really cool, really fun. I will keep you posted with that. I can't wait to try it and see how that goes. We're going to be trying the Okinawa pink okra. Stay tuned for that. Of course, that's going to be a part of our Pretty in Pink series. I have so success with okra. So hopefully this year is going to be our year and we're going to get a good okra, because I love okra. Now we're also going to do a Louisiana velvet okra and the jambalaya okra. Jambalaya did really good initially, but not as a plant. And so I'm going to run it back and see how that does. Red Hill okra actually gave us some okras, but neither one of them liked their area. So I might try that Red Hill again, because I believe that I got a couple of seeds from the one that did grow. So we might throw those down and see what happens. Next year, we're overwintering about 9 of our peppers. So I'm really looking forward to ghost pepper having its 2nd year. We're also overwintering a habanero red pepper. So those will be good. Our focus is going to be on jalapenos next year. I love jalapenos. I do not feel like I've been giving enough love to them. I've only been growing 1 or 2 plants of jalapenos. That's not enough. So we're going to do a jalapeno gigantea. We're going to do jalapeno Goliath. And we're going to do a jalapeno tam. And hopefully with those 3 jalapenos, we'll really be able to get a good jalapeno harvest. If I'm not getting at least 10 to 15 jalapenos a week, I don't want it. So let's see how that goes. We're also going to try the pink hornet pepper. That's going to be for our Pretty in Pink series. So I'm excited to see how that tastes and how it looks. Tabasco pepper did very good for us last year. Tabasco is now a staple in the garden, and we'll continue to grow that. Pumpkins this year. I had okay success with pumpkins last year with our sugar pie pumpkins, but I really want to not only just make pumpkin pie, but be able to have pumpkins just out the wazoo. I want pumpkins everywhere. So we're going to try a couple of different pumpkins this year, including Cinnamon Girl pumpkin, early sugar or pie pumpkin, sugar pumpkin, sugar pie pumpkin, and winter luxury pumpkin. So I'm very excited about those pumpkin types, and then I'll keep you posted. I have some ideas about where to put those pumpkins next year, which parts of the garden that we can really start a pumpkin patch. I think it will be aesthetically pleasing, as well as be able to grow abundantly, because at the end of the day, as much as I love a good aesthetic, we want to get the food, and we want to have an abundant amount of the food to be able to provide for the family. So I'm always I'm always going to think about how things grow, how much they grow, what was the ease of growing, the things that you can put out in the garden that just seem to do for themselves. Those are staples that you should always have, because this is still about food. It's about being self-sustainable. It's a form of revolution. For our squash, we're going to make it do what it do. Coco Zell zucchini. Coco Zell is my favorite zucchini, and it's coming back. We're also going to shout out our safari zucchini. Did very well. It did get taken down by a vine borer, but we're going to run it back, and I'm going to put between the Coco Zell and safari Those are going to have at least 3 or 4 plants each. And then, of course, we're also going to do our regular Black Beauty zucchini, because Black Beauty is just a staple in the garden and it tends to do very, very well. But I love Cocozelle zucchini. I cannot say enough about it. And Safari and Cocozelle are almost so much alike that I love both of them. So Cocozelle, Safari, and Black Beauty, 3 zucchinis that will always be in my garden. We're going to try lemon squash. I've never grown lemon squash. Very interested to see how it is. So what I'm finding happening with our squash, our long neck, our straight neck, our crook neck squash, is that by about July, they're really just tapering out, and or the vine borers have just done the most with them. So this year, we're going to try to grow scallop squashes. My hope is that the way that scallop squashes grow, maybe they'll have some more vine borer resistance to them. So we're going to be trying the early white bush scallop, as well as the Patterson Macrobee scallop. And I'll put those up. I hope I'm saying that last one correct, but very excited about those. We're also going to try a mashed potato squash that I'm excited to try. Like, I heard that it's almost like a mashed potato substitute, so we'll see about that. Spaghetti squash. Shouts out to spaghetti squash because it came hard. It's making the top 10 for our garden, and spaghetti squash will always have a place here. We're also going to try a Table Queen acorn squash, so that'll be different for us. Zucchini replicante. Oh my God. Can I say more about the zucchini replicante? Zucchini replicante showed up and showed out. I have never seen a zucchini like this. From May all the way into the frost, until literally it snowed in November, zucchini replicante showed up. Put it as a staple in your garden. I promise you, it will not disappoint. I will be growing zucchini replicante going forward. It is now a garden staple, but the abundance that you have in it, unmatched. I want to shout out our Amish paste tomato. Amish paste did excellent. It's going to be a garden favorite. I want to shout out the Hillbilly tomato. That's also another tomato that's part of our Pretty in Pink series. I'm very excited about it. It is so pretty. So we'll see how that does. Please and thank you for my favorite tomato, blueberry cherry tomato. My goodness, it is delicious. I love to eat it with cheeses, a fresh snack. It's like a citrus kind of fruit thing. I mean, it just doesn't get any better. So if you have not grown blueberry cherry tomatoes, please, here is what you need. I'm telling you. Go grow blueberry cherry tomatoes. You will not be disappointed. They also fruited from May until the last frost. I can't say enough about them. My second favorite tomato going forward is Midnight Snack Tomato. Midnight Snack Tomato, love it. In fact, my mom, I grow her tomatoes for her. I will be growing her Midnight Snack and Red Robin tomatoes as her favorite tomatoes. Astro knocked us over. All right. Blueberry cherry tomato, my absolute favorite tomato. Midnight Snack tomato, my second favorite tomato. Please, if you don't have those in your garden or you have not tried to grow them, grow them. Excellent. I can't say enough about them. Kellogg's breakfast tomato. I really liked how it grew, and we're going to try it again next year. So we'll be seeing that again. We're going to focus on watermelons as well as pumpkins next year. So for watermelons, we're going to try a couple of different varieties, including Alibaba, Golden Honey, Orange Glow, Orange Tender Sweet, and Moon and Stars. Very excited about our watermelon. Oh, and then of course, Sugar Baby. Sugar Baby is our watermelon staple. Shout out Green Zebra tomato. Definitely made the top 10. Green Zebra was so abundant, and it's a very pretty tomato. Aunt Ruby's German green tomato showed up and showed out. I was before growing this fried green hybrid tomato, no more. Aunt Ruby's German green tomato is now the tomato that I will be growing, a staple in the garden. Tomatillo Grande Rio Verde. That's the tomatillo of choice. If that's not a staple, make it a staple. Try it. I tried purple tomatillo last year. It did nothing compared with to Grande Rio Verde did. Green Wave Mustard Green showed up and showed out, and it is now the new staple in my garden. Make sure you check it out. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that your holiday season is going well. I wish you much abundance and fun while you're gardening. I can't wait to see how everybody's garden turns out. Feel free to reach out to me or, keep an eye on what we got going, and I will see you all later. Have a great day.